Hi everyone, Monique here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Welcome back to the channel. And thank you to all my subscribers that have hung around. Long time no see. So today's video is Mastering Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn is now retrograde at a little over 19 degrees. And when Saturn stationed, Monique stationed. And I needed to process because Saturn has stationed retrograde exactly conjunct my natal Chiron, opposing Pluto and Uranus. So I'm having a second Saturn return, as many of you are. And it's a tricky time, those mid-60s that were born in the mid-60s, because of Saturn and Chiron in Pisces and the Pluto-Uranus conjunction in Virgo. So Saturn is going to retrograde back to about 12 degrees Pisces, which 12 degrees, 12 and a half degrees, you could say, and that's where my Saturn is in Pisces. So it's almost like the universe has picked us out, those born around late January, early February. You know, Chiron moves slowly and so does Saturn. So there'll be, you know, maybe a year, 12 months where Saturn is actually hitting our Chiron and our natal Saturn. So second Saturn return, first Saturn return. But other than that, everybody has Saturn transiting a section of their chart at the moment where Pisces is the house ruler. So we're going to be talking about how we can master that Saturn in Pisces. And I say master because Saturn rules Capricorn. And one of the themes for Capricorn is self-mastery. So Saturn, self-mastery. Apart from all the bad rap that Saturn gets about the restriction, the karma, the constriction, the iciness, you know, we need Saturn. Saturn is boundaries and Saturn is form on Earth. Okay, and it's very different to Pisces because Pisces rules the ethereal, heaven. Okay, so the two of them together, we have the mastery of the self. And we can all do that, whether you were born with Saturn in Pisces, it doesn't matter. We are all here to ascend. You may not be here to ascend in this life, but that is the purpose and the goal for being human. It's not about coming down here and partying it up and eating and drinking and being merry as one day we will die. You know, it's a school. It's a spiritual school down here. And when you've lived many, many experiences, because it's all in the now moment, remember, or multidimensional, remember, when you've had many, many experiences, you know, eventually you will come to your true self, which is ethereal source energy, and you will understand that that has been the purpose for being human all along. So you may have noticed that when Saturn ingressed into Pisces in 2023, that your self-discipline lessened, that things that you were quite disciplined about, which is Saturn, you know, you weren't as disciplined. Maybe habits and addictions that you thought you'd overcome have come back into focus, and you've thought, well, what's going on? I thought I'd overcome this. Where is my willpower? Where is my self-discipline? And when Saturn ingressed into Pisces, and I've spoken to a few people about this, it lessened, and that's because of the Pisces energy, because Pisces isn't a self-disciplined energy. It goes with the flow, like the fishes, upstream, downstream. It's a passive energy. So it took a little while for us personally to receive that energy, and then to understand that energy, and then to be able to work with that energy. Because just because Saturn is in Pisces, it doesn't mean Saturn has lost its self-discipline. It's just balancing out those two energies together, because it was, 29 years ago that Saturn was in Pisces. And of course, we're always expanding. We're always evolving, okay? So we may have found that our willpower had lessened and our self-discipline had decreased. But as Saturn has ingressed into Pisces, retrograded, then gone up to 19 degrees and now retrograding again, we've started to take hold of those habits and disciplines that we've wanted to master. There you go, to master. And that would be, your addictions, okay? Number one, habits that aren't serving you, and also the positive things like meditation, exercise, eating right, all of those things that your will, wanted to overcome in this lifetime. So mastering Saturn is Pisces is mastering the circle of life, because Pisces is the 12th sign. There's nothing after this except Aries, the newborn. So there's been 12 signs that Saturn has moved through and finally reached the 12th sign of the subconscious, Pisces, because Pisces is the 12th house. It rules the subconscious. What is hidden? Things hidden. And as well, it rules spirituality. So it's the circle of life, the astrology chart. Now, something that we always must remember, astrology is just another story. It's not the be end of life. It is another story. It's another modality, like many modalities out there, all to bring us to the truth. And the truth is coming to integrate our true self. And our true self is source energy. And you might call it God, spirit, Shakti. There's many, many names, okay? And nobody's wrong. They're all right. It's up to you to name that energy. I like to call it source energy, okay? It's the energy on the other side of the veil that we left to come into our human bodies when we were born. Okay, so the agenda of Saturn in Pisces is to practicalize, make inform the whole. So if we're only operating out of our ego, which is the mind, right? The opposite of Pisces is Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Virgo is all organized and putting things in place and controlling how we organize our life and practicalize our life through seeing form, right? That's the Virgo energy. So for us to become whole and become masters of Saturn in Pisces, become masters of the self, we need to be operating from our spiritual self, source, as well as our ego. However, the greater of those two is source energy. And Saturn ingressing into Pisces, if you work through this energy, there is transcendence, enlightenment, ascension. These are all gifts of mastering Saturn in Pisces. So we're practicalizing, making form the whole. And by doing it for ourselves personally, we are supporting the whole of what is here on earth and the collective, all of us humans together. That is the whole. We were born whole. However, as from when we were born, we fragmented. through the patterning and the conditioning of our early childhood and the ancestors, the ancestral lineage that we were born into, as well as cultural and societies conditioning. Okay, now that it must take place first within the self. Now Pisces is a servant as well as Virgo. They're here. Virgo rules the 6th house, opposite that 12th house, and Virgo is, the key words are to serve, and Pisces serves as well, however more so in a spiritual form. So if many people on this planet, many light workers, whatever you want to call yourselves, spiritual seekers, feel that they want to save the world, help the world, serve the world, but before we can do that, mastering Saturn in Pisces, we must do that for ourselves first. We must fill our own cup before we can help others. Otherwise, we're working out of our ego, our mind, what we think we should be doing. Now, for those that were born in the mid-60s, this mastering of Saturn in Pisces, you know, that is your signature. That is our signature. We have the opportunity, this life, to transcend, to become enlightened, like some of the great teachers that have passed and are here. There are great teachers on this planet who have mastered the ego, the mind, and they are here teaching at the moment. And I don't want to name any names, but I'm sure a few will come to mind. That mid-60 generation had that Chiron, so the wound is in the Pisces area, and Pisces also rules, you know, one of the energies of Pisces before it transcends is the victim, right? The victimhood, because it's a very sensitive energy, Pisces energy. And Pisces is also a compassionate energy, right? And Pisces energy often allows itself to be walked all over. But with Saturn in Pisces, Saturn rules boundaries. So that energy of boundaries between what's yours and what's mine can be seen from an ethereal spiritual awareness, as well as being aware that we are all one. We are all one. Humanity is all one. Everything on this planet, we are one as a whole. However, we are individualized. Pisces also rules unconditional love. And because of that unconditional love, before the Pisces energy is matured, Saturn, maturity, that is where Pisces can become a doormat and be abused. And then if the Pisces energy has been abused, then it can be looked upon as being the victim. So the boundaries are needed so that the Pisces energy doesn't live as the victim. But being the victim is something that those with strong Pisces in their chart, and Virgo, strong Virgo as well, you know, have to move through that victimhood to get to the other side, to the unconditional love, and also have the boundaries on board, Saturn, so that the Pisces isn't wiped out. Okay, so Pisces is compassion, unconditional love, serving, but mastery must take place before this can be balanced energy and be of service, true unconditional service. Okay, because caretaking and people pleasing and overgiving is all an imbalanced energy of unconditional love. So the 12th house, Pisces house, it's the diamond house. It's the evolved diamond. After transiting all through the 12th house and experiencing and learning the lessons of all the sun signs, from Aries through to Aquarius, we finally get to the Pisces energy. Now, with the Aquarius energy, the energy previous to Pisces is I know. So on board, Pisces knows. And with Saturn there, ingressed into Pisces, we have the mastery, we have the mature awareness of the I know, I feel. Coming in, back into Aries, I am. Okay, alchemy is what takes place. Inner alchemy, where we overcome the victimhood, the wounds. Chiron is known to be the ruler of Virgo, the healer. So it's self-healing, self-mastery. So the goal to self-mastery is transcending the ego, transcending the mind. And I know only one modality that can do that, and that is meditation, daily meditation. I have been meditating daily all year with a mentor, and we have been studying out of a book called The Mind Illuminated. And for the last week and a half, since I made the last video as Saturn stationed, I actually thought I was never going to be able to speak about astrology again, because it's just the story. Everything that the mind brings up is conditioning and the story. And until we can sit in source presence and observe the mind and the thoughts, the ego is in operation here. So meditation is the key to mastery, self-mastery, to be still and know that we are God, source. So I'm going to come at astrology in a very different way now, because I feel that I would be not serving you. Yes, I started studying astrology at 17, but the energy wasn't on planet to, and I have been a seeker ever since. But I don't want you guys to have to go through 30, 40 years of seeking. If you can get straight into your meditation, discipline yourself. Saturn, Pisces, meditation. If you can discipline yourself to meditate daily, you will be able to slow the mind down, to observe the thoughts and allow them to keep moving on, and come to the awareness that everything changes on this planet and that you are source energy. With Saturn conjuncting Chiron, this is for the mid-60s, with the very heavy opposition, and some people have the grand square. Like we have Jupiter in Gemini at the moment. So Jupiter is squaring this Saturn, and it is also squaring the Uranus-Pluto in Virgo, right? And this stands for anybody who's a sun sign Virgo or a sun sign Pisces or a sun sign Sagittarius. There's a grand square. Now these grand squares or oppositions, they're all there to transcend. They're given to us. They're hard work. Yes, they're hard and they're painful, because to kill the ego, and a lot of people don't like saying kill the ego, but to make friends with the ego, both sides of the coin, make friends with the ego, kill the ego, become aware of the ego. You know, it is alchemy, you know. It's alchemy to make a diamond, you know, it's force rubbing together, right? So take the opportunity. I encourage you, because the freedom is in mastering self, mastering the thoughts, mastering the mind. And if your conditioning from early childhood was abusive or very hard, then the thoughts have been set up for a very long time, and the beliefs that you have on board in your thoughts are not right. That's not the truth. The truth is your true self is source energy. And this is all an illusion. Yes, we can see everything, but really, when we pass, none of this is coming with us. When we leave our bodies, none of this is coming with us. So if you have fear of where you will be when you die, transcending the ego now in this life will give you so much peace that you will not fear to leave your body when the time comes. So I encourage everybody, my only key and the only answer I have is meditation. Astrology is the story. Astrology opens our consciousness to understand ourselves and others better, and also to understand the energies that are coming in and out on planet, what we're working with, what the ego is working with, because Source doesn't care. Source doesn't care. Source is love. Source is. It just is. There's no language. It cannot even be explained. And all through our scriptures, we've been told that. So while Saturn is in Pisces, take the opportunity, start to meditate. Start to look at some of the habits and addictions that you still have on board. I've been working with addictions for 30 odd years, and they all popped up again when Saturn ingressed into Pisces. However, with meditation, and thanks to Uranus trining my natal sun, it's been a gift to be able to drop all of those habits and not white knuckling it. Dropping your addictions and habits, if you're white knuckling it, whoa, that's the hardest way to go. But to become aware of them, accept them, and to keep trying. And then eventually there'll be a freedom that you're not doing it for anybody else. You're doing it for yourself, and because it is right. It's the right thing to do to transcend the ego and the fears and all of those emotions that come from our thoughts, and many other emotions that are in our DNA that have come from our ancestral lineage. And that's to a whole bunch of people out there who are transcending their ancestral lineage. Okay. It's great to be back. Thank you. I just want to offer that I do readings as well to help you through your chart, to be able to look at these wounds and to be able to look at your the way you're going to go. Okay, there's many ways to get to ascension, many different ways to get to ascension, but I'm here to offer you that one-on-one. And if you go into the description box, you'll find my email there. You can pop over to my website as well and have a look at what other people have said. But it's great to be back. I'm going on a meditation retreat in 2.5 weeks, or 2 weeks. And I'll drop a few videos before I go. Got a few in mind. So thank you, everyone. I love you. I really do. And thanks for sticking around. And thank you to the new subscribers. I hope that my videos help you. So bye.